My breasts were hidden when I was in public for a long time. And then suddenly I am talking about my breasts and acknowledging my breasts and showing my breasts to a lot of technicians, and a lot of people are touching them, and that was really hard. I had a week to the day from when I found out I had breast cancer to when I had my mastectomy, which is not a lot of time to wrap your head around that. So I spent a good amount of time trying to figure out how you make peace with that and how you say goodbye to this part of your body that you had a difficult relationship with, that I spent years sort of ignoring and hiding from the world. I think I mostly had assumed that everybody sort of felt very uncomfortable about who they were, and that eventually that was going to go away. When I was in college and started thinking about my gender, there were a lot of bloggers who were trans and transitioning, and a lot of them were talking about binding and passing and things like that. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is something that will help me feel better with myself.
I think a lot of people who aren't trans, the question is always sort of, well, is it because of how other people see you want to change your body? Is it because how you see yourself? And is it sort of an internal thing that you just have a feeling?
I think it was a little bit of all of that, because it is sort of, for lack of a better term, a little bit of a mindfuck to be like, I don't know if this is pressure society's putting on me or pressure I'm putting on myself, or if this is really how I innately feel better. I had been wearing a binder every single day for quite a while. We were talking before, whether or not I wanted to have top surgery. And in the beginning, if somebody had offered it to me, I would have been ready to do it, like, ASAP. When I was in college, I was researching top surgery. At the time it was very expensive. It was going to be $6,000 to $8,000, which, was not going to be accessible to me.
It's really fascinating how you ended up, getting to the point where you got to have top surgery. How did that come about?
I found a bump on my chest, and I sort of ignored it for a while, but it was definitely there in such a way that I could feel it through 2 layers of shirts and a binder. And I put off having it looked at. I put off seeing somebody for it because I was living in a new town and I didn't know who I could see that would be trans friendly. So I put it off for a couple months. It was one of these moments. It was a Friday morning. I had to go into work afterward. She's like, okay, take off your shirt and I'll take a look at it. She touched it. Without saying a word, she left the room. And when she came back, she had this look on her face that, and she's like, you need to go have an ultrasound. And she didn't want to say it, but she knew it and I knew it. And that was just terrifying. And then I had to tell my supervisors, and it turned out neither of my supervisors knew I was trans. I thought one of them did. So, I had to come out to my supervisors and then talk about the fact that I had breasts and that, they had this concern that I might have cancer, and I'm like, it was traumatic.
What were the options that they gave you?
My options were either a lumpectomy or a mastectomy. If I had a lumpectomy, I would have needed to have weeks of radiation, daily radiation afterwards. That decision was fairly easy because, I didn't really want to have breasts anyways.
I mean, it's kind of amazing being trans, having cancer in the first place is really difficult, but you got to have your top surgery.
Honestly, my chest looks very different than trans people who have had top surgery. I have no nipples. They did not think it was safe for me to save my nipples, so I just have 6-inch scars on both sides of my chest. They don't look pretty. They're thick and ropey and red. It looks like somebody took your nipple and stretched it. It was not an empowering experience. It was not about being more comfortable in your body. It was full of uncertainty and fear and loss. I never really hated my body for having breasts. I didn't hate my breasts for having cancer, if you think about it, and I'm a science-minded person, you know, that one breast cell that lost its regulatory control and turned into a cancer cell, that cell was part of me. The night before my surgery, you know, I was a mess, and just the weight of everything that was happening, and all of it felt out of control. Even though this was maybe something I had wanted to have happen, this was not the way anybody would want to go through it. After I had my mastectomy, I found it very strange to have to learn how to relate to the world differently. It felt so different to be walking around without breasts, even though I had hidden them away for so long. You know, my chest has no feeling. It is, you know, very weird to go out on a cold day and not feel that. You know, our chest is so sensitive, and in some ways that's protective, you know, and to not have that, to not know that there's something cold or hot or pointy, you know, right in front of us, right in front of your heart, is a very, very weird thing to adjust to.